Let's go to day 4. Day 4 is pretty interesting. It's a Thursday. It said, let luminaries be in the expanse of the heavens to divide the day and the night, and let them, now we've got the division, and now we've got, let them be for signs and seasons, for days and years. Notice it's Thursday, October 14th, creation day 4. If you look on the second page of your calendar, which is here, you'll see here that October 17th is day number 1 of the DFC days. There's 364 day numbers. The day number on that date never changes, which is interesting. So I'm saying that day number 1 on the 364-day calendar is the first day where you have a sun and a moon. Doesn't that make sense? Okay, the first 3 days were 24-hour days, but we had no way to place them on a calendar because our calendar that we use today is totally solar-based. A year is the time it takes the Earth to go around the sun. So if you don't have a sun, I got no place to put it at that point. Okay. Does that make sense? On day 3, by the way, you do have the creation of plant forms. So on day 3, on the other side, you do have plant forms, but that's not considered soul. It is living, but plants don't have a soul of any kind, and they can't move. The thing that distinguishes animals created on day 5 is they can move, and they have a soul. They have a sense of they're whatever they are, they know that other things they can eat or be eaten. On day 5, he creates all the fish in the sea and all the birds of the air. So the sea is filled with life at this point, and the air is filled with life. That expanse has life in it, and God tells them to multiply. And they're each, and the phrase is always used according to their kind. Lizards don't evolve into birds. Lizards become lizards. They might look different, but they're still lizards. Everything is according to its kind. So God created everything to its kind, told them to multiply, and which they did. When we get to day 6, now God said, let the earth bring forth the living soul according to its kind, cattle, creepers, and beasts of the earth according to its kind. So on that day, on day 6, which is a Saturday, I'm saying that's a Saturday, God creates everything that crawls on the earth, everything that moves on the earth, insects, animals, everything that crawls. Okay, and then God said, now here he doesn't say according to its kind. He switches and said, God said, let us make man in our image. Okay, no other animal or creation is made in God's image, only man. That's very important. According to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heaven, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and every creeping thing creeping on the earth. Okay, so on day 6, he creates all the animals, every creeping thing on the earth. The birds and fish are already there, the plants are already there, and the main purpose of plants, at this time, everything's a plant eater. There's no dinosaurs running around eating other creatures. Everything's a plant eater. Okay? Many people refer to this as the first form of the Trinity. Our is God, His Son, and the Holy Spirit. It's called a plural of majesty. It does not mean there's more than one God. It does not mean that. That's what the our refers to. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's a plural of majesty, meaning it's the way we can comprehend God. The initial point of it is there. That's you can start from this is the first place you see what will later be called the Trinity, even the word Trinity is never used in the Bible. Does that make sense? Okay. But it's clearly, there's no other species like us. We're not created according to our own kind. We're created in the image of God. That's really, really important. And then God's pretty much done with creation. Everything is good. Everything is perfect. There's no disease, there's no dying, there's no decay. Everything's good. Okay, kind of hard to imagine, isn't it? But nobody had messed up yet. That's coming very soon. Okay. So that's so, and he says, keep this seventh day holy. So now here's the important point. Here's another important point. These 7 days of creation make up the total calendar. They just rotate through time. In other words, now on the 364-day calendar over here, if we start here on creation week and go down, those 7 days just keep repeating. Now on this calendar, they're always the same day of the week. As I said before, on this calendar, Nisan 14 is always a Tuesday. When Noah takes the covering off the ark, it's always a Friday. Okay? Those days just rotate through time on a linear calendar, which is what this is. On a solar calendar, and the reason they have no date on them is because these 7 days will be a different date every year. One year it'll be October 20th, the next year it'll be October 21st, and then if there's a leap year, it'll skip 2 days. And it just goes back and forth. You have 28 calendars on the Gregorian calendar. You have 28 rotating calendars that go through a system, and they do the same thing again. They just repeat all through history. So these 7 days don't tell you what day of the week it is. It rotates through on a solar calendar. But on the linear calendar, they're always the same day of the week. And this is very important. I noticed when I was doing my study, I had Logos software. And I put in all the days of the week and did a word search. How many days of the week do you think I found in the Old Testament? 0. In the New Testament? 0. I found a lot of Sabbaths, but the word Saturday is never, all the days of the week are never mentioned. We find in the Old Testament, this is very important, and then we're going to get into the calendar and see how you use it. In the Old Testament, it gives the month and the day number of the month. It never says the day of the week. And that's true if you look at Babylonian calendars. It'll give the month. And by the way, all calendars originate from a Hebrew calendar. You'll get something, they'll tell you, oh no, they got their names from the No. The original calendars were a Hebrew calendar. Other cultures adapted it, but all except the Romans had an 8-day calendar for a short time. Every calendar on earth is a 7-day calendar. That comes from Genesis. And it's mathematically very precise. Very precise. So that's why these days just have a number and they spin through time, but there's no corresponding day on a Hebrew calendar. And to make your 364-day calendar, you've got to put these 8 days, 7 days plus the connecting day called the beginning, you put them in between Tishri and Heshvan. So the first day, as we said before, is Tishri 31, then these days are numbered. And then after day 7, it starts with Heshvan.